Elizabeth Macdonald, and I'm here with two of the youth pilgrims who are commissioners here at the 42nd General Council. Julia Heesing, who's from Alberta and Northwest Conference, Amy McClelland, who's from Bay of Quinte Conference. Thank you so much
Thank you for
for
having
agreeing
us.
to be part of this tonight. You women have just been part of closing worship on day 3 at this General Council. And you just lifted the spirits and filled this place with so much energy. What was it like to be planning the service and then standing up in front of all these commissioners? What was the experience like for you, Julia? Julia?
Well, I think we didn't really have a lot of time to plan it. So it was one of those last minute, get here, you're busy with the workbook, you're busy with as a commissioner. So planning it was kind of a last minute thing, but it turned out really well. And standing up on the stage is really neat to see things from that angle. We sit in our chairs all day. So to be up there and look out at all the faces here, I found it really inspiring to see everybody who's here.
Amy, what was it like for you?
It was so awesome because that is what we talk about. We loved sharing our side of the story with everyone, and it came together really well because that is how we feel as the youth, and we're excited about the church and we're passionate about it, and it was awesome to share it and have it perceived so well.
One of the things that really struck many, many people who've been coming to these kinds of meetings for a long time is the confidence and poise that all of you exhibited. You were each yourself, you're all different, but there was a sense of we're here, we're part of what's going on. And is that sense that we saw, is that your experience as younger commissioners? Have you felt welcomed and included here? What's it like at your table groups?
My table group is really awesome. They're always excited to hear what I have to say, and always asking me about the perspective from across Canada. So that's really awesome to be able to share what we've learned all summer. Everyone is so welcoming in the United Church of Youth. It's so awesome. We feel so listened to and heard, and so it's really cool being able to share what we think.
Yeah. One of the things we often heard this summer as we were traveling across the country was that our voice was important. And as much as we're told that and we feel it, it's not real until we're here and our voice is important. And at my table group, my voice is valued and important, and I feel listened to and cared for. So I'm really enjoying the table group I have. We have 2 conference presidents. We have a guest, the president of the World Council of Churches. So there's lots of different experience, and I don't feel any less of that because of my age. I feel equal or par with them.
Now, you both were pilgrims across the country, 8,000 kilometers, starting on the Pacific. Now you're here at the Atlantic, and you're having informal conversations, but you also were part of a learning opportunity over the lunch hour, a little bit more of a structured opportunity to talk about the pilgrimage. What were commissioners asking you? What did they want to know about your experience traveling across the country?
I think a lot of times they were wondering what different congregations had to say to us. We often stayed in churches, and the perspectives on different issues the church is facing, like restructuring and finances, it varies from coast to coast. So they were really curious for the things that we learned about, rural churches and their view on this restructuring versus the big city churches in Toronto. So that was something we were able to share with them that they found valuable.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the question of what was the highlight, which is a really hard question to answer after being across the country and having 6 weeks of highlights. So, we're always often able to come up with something that stood out. But there's so many awesome things that we've experienced that it's hard to pick just one. So,
well, I'm sure those conversations will be continuing throughout General Council. Today, the Sessional Committee reported on the comprehensive review and brought to the commissioners a series of recommendations on the recommendations. As you look at the comprehensive review, it's long, it's complicated, but I'm wondering, is there a part of the review, is there a particular recommendation or set of recommendations that you're particularly concerned about, that you'll be talking in your table group, that you might even go to a microphone to be part of the debate? Is there a part of the comprehensive review that is particularly important for you?
The one that I always talk about when we talk about the comprehensive review is chasing the spirit is my number one thing that I think is so important, and because I think so much of the comprehensive review is downsizing and taking away things we don't need and not, but I think the chasing the spirit part is so awesome in thinking of the future and thinking of growth and the things that we can do to make this church keep it alive and keep things exciting and moving forward.
Supporting new ministries, supporting transformational ministry. That's where
it's so important to me. I think we saw so much across the country, all the interesting, cool new ministries that are going on, and I love the idea of supporting new people who have fun and exciting ideas of new ministries.
All right, Julia, what?
Well, my favorite part of the new creed is that we are called to be the church, and within the comprehensive review, there's a lot about restructuring, and I found across the country there's a lot of anxiety and fear about that. But what we need to remember is that we are called to be the church no matter what that church is going to look like. So whether we go to the 3-court model or whether we stay at the 4-court model, I think there's joy in each one of those. So we just need to remember that each one of them is where we're supposed to be, and so have patience as we work through that.
Now, these are early days. The commissioners heard the recommendations today, won't really begin discussing them until tomorrow. But just judging from your own experience, talking to other commissioners, what's your sense of the mood of the court? Are we going to get to consensus around these recommendations for change? What are you anticipating? What are you preparing yourself for in terms of the debate that's going to come?
I think that's a tough question. At my table group personally, I think we're ready to dive into the debate. We're ready for that. Now, I can't speak for the whole court, but I do get there's a sense of anxiousness, not necessarily about what we're facing, but just to get into it. Right. So we can discover more what everyone else is
We're
thinking.
ready. Let's get going.
My conference, Alberta Northwest, we left our conference meeting feeling hopeful and okay with what was coming forward. I don't know about the rest of the conferences. So I think there's anxiousness, but there's also excitement that's sort of building and see where we're going to go with it.
What's your read?
The read at my table is definitely we're okay. I feel like there's a not a sense of relief, but almost this sense of readiness that we've been talking about this comprehensive review and the restructuring for so long that we're ready for this debate, even if it is a debate that ends up not ending the way people want it to. We're ready to talk about it, and I feel a really sense of contentment with what has been said so far, and I think my table's ready to go. So
Now the other thing that happened today, we heard from the nominees for moderator, 12 of them. They spoke to the court. 2 days they have to wait until the vote, and 2 days for commissioners to make up their mind. What advice would you have to the moderator, the nominees, about how to get through the next 2 days? And what do you want to say to commissioners about what they should be thinking of as they make up their mind about who to vote for?
That is a tough question.
Yeah.
I would say to the moderators that what is meant to be will be, and I think the decision has already been made by you know who. But I would say definitely to the commissioners that when we were at the General Counsel office, they were talking about the job of moderator, and one of the lines in like the job description or whatever was to lighten the hearts of the church. So one of the things that I'm definitely was listening for in their speeches this afternoon was someone who has a positive outlook but is a really good speaker, and someone who's going to encourage the church and give us hope to move forward. So that's what I'm looking for.
Julia.
Definitely, I'd have to echo almost everything that Amy just said. Also, ask lots of questions in terms of commissioners. We got the opportunity to meet a lot of moderator nominees throughout the course of our pilgrimage, and one of the most important things we could do is ask questions. How do you feel about this? What do you think this is going to be? That's the only way you're really gonna know where they stand. And again, similar what Amy said in terms of moderator nominees, what will be, and the decision's already being made. So just go into it with patience and hope.
Julia, Amy, thank you. Day 3 has come to a close. We need to get ready for day 4, and we will be back again this time tomorrow night. Okay.